What's up, guys? GotDave here. I just wanted to make a quick little review, like kind of comparing that Husqvarna 701 to this bike, the Duke 690, because they are very similar in many different ways. And my opinion is that the engines are the same. Maybe the 701's like the new updated one, because it did feel like it had less vibration than this engine. The engine definitely feels more like a rever rather than like my engine, like all torquey. It feels like it revs higher. It felt like the Husqvarna was a little bit heavier, and it's obviously higher, like ground clearance wise. So this bike here is a little bit lighter weight, and it feels like it's lower to the ground. So to me, the Duke 690 definitely feels like it handles better than that Husqvarna did. That's just my opinion. And maybe it just feels that way to me because I'm lower. It feels like riding the Duke, but I'm like way higher up. Maybe once I got used to the bike, it would be no big deal. It would feel okay. But just jumping on that bike and going for it, it kind of felt like, I don't know, like a little bit spookier than this bike. Feeling weird already, huh? But as far as like the power, comparing the two, I mean, they pretty much feel the same to me. The Husqvarna did feel like it revved higher. That's on the pin, baby. Woo! I couldn't really compare that because the dash on the Husqvarna doesn't have a tachometer like this bike does. It feels like it revs higher. I don't know. It doesn't have a tach. No way of knowing how high I was actually revving it, but it felt like it really, like you could wind that engine out. And that maybe it's just because it was smoother, you know, like it was counterweighted better or something like that. And one thing that I noticed about the Supermoto, about the 701, is it felt like the wheels were more gyroscope. Like you could feel the balancing effect of the wheel being spinning. I don't know. I can't really explain it to you, but it almost felt like the rims were heavier, maybe, you know, like it kind of gave me that impression. But I don't notice that on this bike, and I totally noticed that on that bike. I don't know what kind of rims this thing has on it, but it feels way more gyroscopy than my bike, than my Duke. That's what bike I'm comparing this to right now. Really, the only complaint that I could have about that Husqvarna that I would like to see them do to that bike is put a tach on that baby. I really didn't like not having a tach, but at the same time, that's not really, you know, I mean, when you're really hauling ass, you're not looking down at like what you're doing too much. You're just kind of going by the feel of the engine, the sound of the engine or whatever. Personally, like just for me, like for the riding that I do, for the style that I prefer, or whatever you want to say, I really like the Duke. So that's my opinion, you know, each to their own. But I like the way it looks though. I sure like the look of that Supermoto. And one thing that kind of surprised me, because I've never really ridden a factory specific Supermoto bike before, what surprised me is how stiff it was. You know, because like you're looking at it and it looks like a dirt bike, and I really thought that it was going to be a lot softer, and I thought it was going to move around underneath me a lot more than it did. So that is my comparison, or my opinion on that bike. And I'll talk to y'all later. You have a great day.